to work, and oh man, and I wanted to talk about a few things on my way in. Welcome. If you're new to my channel, my name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk, and talk we are going to do. You know, yesterday I covered all the polls. Kamala is getting creamed in the polls like no one's business. There has been no Kamala bump. She's been doing appearances with incredibly low turnout. She did one appearance over the weekend on Saturday at a nursing home. There were 68 people in attendance, and those are the nursing home residents. She did an event the day before yesterday in a school gym, and she's done a couple of these, and they blocked off big sections of the gym with black curtains, and the few people that showed up, they crammed in. And then yesterday, they put on a concert, which I'm going to, in my next stream, I'm going to go through the details of this, and it was a disaster. The Kamala Harris campaign, and I've been following presidential campaigns as a broadcaster, a member of the media. I guess the first, well, I've been following them my whole life, but as a broadcaster in media, I've been following every election since the 92 Bush, Ross Perot, Clinton race. I have not seen a candidate that's considered the nominee, even though she doesn't have the nomination yet, but I've not seen a candidate as weak and as disastrous as Kamala Harris. She is not a top of the ticket kind of person. She is a very weak, very pathetic candidate. Don't worry, I'll be on a road with some light where you'll be able to see me a little bit better in a few minutes. She's a B player. She's a supporting actor or actress. And she's bombing. She's like that movie Madam Web. You know, all these lady starring Marvel movies that have tanked at the box office. She's like the acolyte, just totally tanking. So she's pushing really hard, Kamala, to debate Trump. And Trump says he's not going to debate until they've got an official nominee after the convention. You know, he debated Biden, won. The most victorious debate in the history of presidential debates, because the president, the sitting president, stepped down after the debate. He was so devastated. Nothing like that's ever happened. A candidate dropped out after the debate when they were the nominee. It's never happened before. That was a world record election knockout by President Trump. And Kamala Harris, her campaign is so pathetic that she's desperate to get a debate with Trump before the convention because she thinks they'll be able to get something out of it, certainly primetime coverage on all the networks, to try to secure the nomination. Because her campaign is so pathetic, Kamala Harris. She's so low in the polls. There's been no bump. She can't get people to turn out to see her. Kamala Harris, she's afraid that she's not going to get the nomination in 2 weeks at the Democrat convention, that they'll plug in Gavin Newsom or somebody else. The likelihood of that is maybe 50-50. I mean, and who really wants to go up against Trump and lose, right? No politician that has a credible future in their mind, like Gavin Newsom, who's insane, wants to go up and lose against Trump. So they may not have somebody else really willing to take it, except like maybe a Robert Kennedy, you know, like a third-rate person. I'm talking about like one of their A-listers that the Democrats have, if you can call these pathetic, insane people A-listers. But Kamala, she's in a panic right now, and she wants that debate so bad. This bizarre talking point they have that Trump is afraid to debate Kamala. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. First of all, I'll get to the recent events in a moment, but when he ran the first time, he went up against about 16 of the top Republicans of 2015. Ted Cruz, Scott Walker, Jeb Bush, or a whole bunch of others. Lindsey Graham, Kucinich, and he cleaned all of their clocks in every single debate. He's a master debater. Then he went up against Hillary, and he just cleaned Hillary's clock too. So this guy's not afraid of debate, and he's done so many hostile interviews and town halls and everything on these fake news networks. Plus, he was shot at a rally a little more than 6 minutes into his speech, and after he was shot, he got up and spoke to the crowd, covered in blood, and he's been doing rallies ever since. So to call Trump a coward is pathetic. It's like, what do they think he's Barney McFly from Back to the Future? If they call him chicken, he'll cave and he'll do it. Not going to do it. He knows exactly what's going on. And President Trump told Laura Ingraham, he said this. He says, you know, I debated Biden, he dropped out. I debate Kamala, I clean her clock. And they're going to replace her again and put in a third person? No. First off, having debates prior to the conventions, both conventions being over, is unheard of. That Trump-Biden debate was historic in that you had two presidents debating, which has never happened before, right? Two presidents debating for the presidential ticket. They're both presidents. And it was before the conventions. That's never happened. So, you know. So this is beautiful. Things are going very well. I know a lot of people, they're trying to get on the the MSNBC crowd. They're trying to get this pathetic talking point going. First, that Trump's afraid of debating Kamala, which I just, explained the absurdity of that. And then the other thing, for some reason, they think that she's going to beat him. No, they don't think she's going to beat him. It's complete desperation. Kamala's easier to beat than Joe Biden. Easier. And I know that's not what they want you to think in the media, but she is. Look at her. The Bidens, what they have going for them, even though, he's a vegetable, his cognitive decline is so severe, but what they have, the Bidens, that Kamala doesn't, are connections with everybody in Washington. And when it got closer to the election, after the convention, if it would have been Biden, they would have been more organized than with Kamala. Kamala is just not a credible candidate. She's just not. So this could not have gone better for Trump. Taking down Biden and plugging in this rocket scientist they got there, Kamala Harris. It could not be going better. And if she's the nominee, she probably will be, but if she, when she gets the nomination, he'll debate her. He'll set it up and debate her. But why is he going to inject himself into her campaign and debate her before she has the nomination and prop her up? That's insane. It makes absolutely no sense for him to do that, and he's not going to do it. So that's that. This is a beautiful thing. We need Trump more than ever. I just filled up my tank, had about quarter tank in it, a little less than a quarter tank. I didn't even look to see how much it cost. I did not want to know. If the radio station was a little closer to my house, I would take my MAGA scooter 2.0, my Vespa, to work. and save on gas. The Vespa gets like over 90 miles a gallon. But the radio station is just a little too far, especially at this hour of the morning. Now, Kamala, you know, and I think Kamala knows she's in trouble. You know, when you go to appearances like she's doing, and there's no one there, you know, like I give you an example. You know, Mr. Beast here on YouTube. People are really going after Mr. Beast, right? #1 guy on YouTube. You know, and he had that one guy working for him that's got all these issues. But now they're focusing on Mr. Beast. I was watching a video on YouTube that was showing that the contestants in some of his videos are not real contestants, that they like work for him or are friends and family of people who work for him. And they even showed one in the circles where it wasn't only staffers pretending to be, you know, subscribers and contestants, but even Mr. Beast's girlfriend was in it. Well, that's what's going on with Kamala. The handful of people that have been there, a lot of them are staffers and friends and family that they bring in as room fillers. And she knows this, okay? She's not smart, but she knows when she shows up somewhere. She's the sitting vice president of the United States, the first female vice president of the United States. She's the highest ranking female in the history of the United States government, plus she's a minority, and she can't draw anyone to come out and see her. She knows that. She feels that. You know when you're speaking to an empty room, and that kind of thing doesn't feel good. So that's weighing on her. And this story on my next stream about the people walking out on her thing yesterday, I'll get to that too on the next stream. I'm not going to get into that now, but that was psychologically, that was devastating to Kamala Harris yesterday. It's been a disastrous week. And not only that, Trump's leading in the polls. I mean, he's just, boom, he's ahead. Projected to win with over 300 electoral college votes. If you go to the Real Clear Politics, averages and all of that. In the polls we see, Trump's further ahead than in the polls we see. And Kamala's further behind than in the polls we see. Kamala is getting the internal polls that show how bad the numbers really are. So believe me, psychologically, she is in a panic. Now, if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. You'll enjoy my content, I promise you. I'm not always driving around like I'm doing now. I'm on my way to the radio station. I'll be live in a little less than an hour, taking live calls on the radio. And you people watching on YouTube can call me on the air. I'll be streaming. The next stream's already there, so when I end this stream, you can hop over to the other one because the chat room's active and you can chat away until I go live. We have so many new people here in Florida. I wish they'd stop coming. The states get too many people coming here. But my main problem with all the transplants to Florida is they don't know the rules of the road in Florida. The left lane on the highways is for passing. You're not supposed to stay in the left passing lane and just cruise. It's for passing. Like I'm doing now, I'm passing, but there's somebody up ahead that doesn't know that. They're in the wrong lane. And the other one is you can turn right on a red light, unless there's a sign telling you can't. But mainly these people in the passing lane, it's driving me nuts. Go back to Pennsylvania, people, all right? And vote for Trump. But, yeah, it's a disaster for her. And, you know, she'll be able to make a living for the rest of her life as the first female vice president. There was some talk, I don't know, about 6 weeks ago, maybe 2 months ago, that they were talking about her running for governor of California after Gavin Newsom moves on, because in Gavin Newsom's mind, he's going to be president, God help us. But she gets creamed against Trump. She's done. People don't like losers. And sometimes I wonder if Kamala regrets leaving the Senate. Vice presidents are forgotten. People that run for president and lose are forgotten. I mean, starting with Kamala, go backwards. How many vice presidents can you name? How far back can you get? Depending on how old you are. But they're forgotten. And do the same thing for the presidential elections. Name off the losers of the presidential elections in reverse. How far back do you get? Presidential election losers they fade away. Vice presidents, nobody's. Rarely do vice presidents amount to anything after they leave office. And this idea that vice presidents easily get elected to the presidency, that's an urban legend. That's not true. It's happened from time to time, but it's not nearly as common as people think, because usually, if a vice president's going to make a run, it's usually after the 2 terms of the president. So it's been 8 years, people are a little tired, they want something new. All right. Oh, man, it is a beautiful day. President Trump must be in town because the weather is so perfect here in South Florida. Let's see, where am I? I'm getting close to Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, I'm getting close. I'm a few minutes away from Mar-a-Lago. Getting close. I'll tell you when. I'm at the Mar-a-Lago exit. Usually when I live stream early, I live stream from home before I head in, but I just was a little busy this morning and didn't have time to stream from home, so I thought, hey, you know what? I'll live stream on the drive in, which I'm doing. Where I'm at, see? You can't really see the phone holder's covering up the camera the other direction. Now Kamala's in trouble. Kamala's in trouble. I'm going to not only I'm going to cover her disastrous fake rally yesterday. More crime from the border czar Kamala Harris's illegals against Americans this week. Just horrific. I'm going to cover that. People know. Okay, if things, they think she's going to come in like Obama. When Obama was running in 2008, Obama had a lot of things going for him that Kamala does not. One of them I'm going to mention first, because I'll forget if I go into the other ones, is one that is pretty big that the Democrats don't have going for them. One of the things that Obama had behind him, we found out in the primaries, it's how we beat Hillary, that people did not know was SEIU, the Service Employees International Union. And I remember during the Democrat primaries in '08, when it was Hillary versus Barack Obama, the Service Employees Union annual convention was taking place in Las Vegas. And President Clinton, who was still a big deal in the Democrat Party, traveled to Vegas, met with SEIU to get their endorsement, and Bill Clinton couldn't get them to endorse Hillary. And it's because Obama had been a part of them forever, and that he had them in his pocket. Well, the Service Employers Union, they're with Trump now, not with the Democrats, because no tax on tips. The Service Employers Union, those are a lot of people that work on tips. But Obama had two things other than that, of course, big ones. One, first black person nominated by a major party. That was a big deal. It's not so much a big deal now. Remember, Obama got elected 16 years ago. I mean, Neil Armstrong was the first man on the moon. He was there with Buzz Aldrin, right? Who walked on the moon on the Apollo mission after Neil Armstrong? I'd have to look it up myself. When I looked up the name, I'd recognize the name, but who knows, right? Exactly. So it's no big deal that a black person is running for president now. It was in '08. So that's one thing. Another thing that Obama had going for him, that in 2008 things were going all right in the country. We had that financial crisis at the end of '08. Okay, and gas prices were pretty high there at the end, but it was at the very end, and the subprime mortgage crisis. But that didn't affect everything in the economy. Okay, it affected housing, but it didn't affect everything. And right now, food inflation is like 50%, depending on what you buy. I mean, it's averaging about 40%. The price of everything has increased by double digits, and the wages have not gone up. So we're in a bad economic situation. And by the way, during the '08 economic crisis, Bush and Cheney were incumbents not running for election. They were at the end of their second term. Right? So so Obama had that going. If Bush was running in '08, he would have lost because of the financial issues. Kamala, who didn't get one vote in the primary, she's part of the disaster. If Dick Cheney was running in '08 against anyone, not just Obama, he would have lost because of the subprime mortgage crisis that was going on in 2008. So there's a lot of factors that Obama had going for him that Kamala just doesn't. I think she's aware of it to a certain extent. And and if she gets the nomination in a couple weeks from the Democrat Party, she won't be the first female to get the nomination of a major party. Hillary Clinton did that. So, the second, third man on the moon, who, and I don't count Buzz because, I love Buzz Aldrin, but I mean the commander of the second and third mission to the moon, who the hell were they? Nobody remembers. So, Kamala's a big, no big deal. A big, no big deal. In fact, everything's going against her. because she's running against a president who has a history of incredible success in every area, Donald Trump. Now, if you're new to my channel, guys, make sure you subscribe, all right? I live stream every day. And those of you that are already subbed, if you could please like the video. Liking the video helps spread the word about this channel where MAGA comes to talk. I'll have a new podcast, too, later in the day. Do the radio show in less than an hour, and then later in the day, a podcast. I'm a busy guy. There's got a lot to say. Lots going on. I mean, this is it. I mean, this is the election that will decide whether or not America and Western civilization survive as we know it, or if we become third world banana republics like South America. That's the decision. All right. I got to stop off and get some coffee. I ran out of coffee at home, so I got to stop off and get coffee. When I stop off at Starbucks, I'll take a quick look at the chat. So spill your guts. Share your thoughts. I'll take a quick look. I'm in some heavy traffic here, so I got to watch. I passed Mar-a-Lago. I forgot to tell you guys. I'm sorry. I was talking about Kamala's disastrous campaign. See, I think the Bidens endorsed Kamala. They want her to lose. They're so, Joe and Jill Biden feel so betrayed by the Democrats. You know, he's been in Washington since Nixon was president, and these are their supposed friends. And everyone they've been friends with for 50 years has betrayed him. And I think he wasn't, stories came out that he was not supposed to endorse, that when Obama called Joe Biden and told him they were going to invoke the 25th Amendment if he didn't drop out of the race, Obama told Joe and Jill not to endorse anyone, they were going to go for that mini primary at the convention. And then the Bidens came out and when he dropped out, endorsed Kamala. And insiders have been saying that Obama's pissed about it, because Obama knows that Kamala can't win against the great President Trump. Wow, this guy just about pulled in front of me. What the hell? So, Biden got even with them by, if you're going to push me out, screw you. I'm going to endorse this loser, Kamala, and you'll all be out. That's how they are. It was revenge, anger, revenge. They were successful in their coup against Biden, but he got even with him, right? Exactly. All right, one exit after this. I wish the holder wasn't blocking the camera the other direction, because I just passed. Here it is. There's a Trump sign on a Trump billboard off of the highway, and it says no tax on tips. I love it. No tax on tips. That's amazing. I mean, the tips should not be taxed. I'm sorry. It used to be, it wasn't really that big of an issue because most tips were in cash. But who really uses cash anymore? Rarely do I use cash. And most people don't. And no tax on tips It's a beautiful thing. I mean, it's a big pay increase for service workers. And also, I'm coming up to my exit. You know, it gives them tax relief that they don't normally get. You know, when there's tax cuts, they adjust the brackets. And waiters and waitresses, people that are part of the tip economy like that, at that level, most of their pay are in tips. They're not in tax brackets where they get their taxes reduced, right? So they don't get the benefit of the tax reductions. They don't pay income tax. They pay payroll tax. And all of a sudden, no tax on tips. The majority of their paycheck is in tips. That's just huge. But it's not just waiters and waitresses and people like that. Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, Instacart drivers, right? All those kind of workers, no tax on their tips either. You know, and if I use Instacart or DoorDash, I tip them, but they got to pay taxes on that. No more. Not with Trump. Trump's back in. And what percentage of the economy is that? It's a huge part of the economy. So all those people not only are getting a tax break, that's a big raise. That's a lot of money for people in those income brackets. It's a great idea Trump came up with. He understands because, you know, he's in the resort business, so he understands what it's like for all these people that are part of the tip economy. Now, if you're new, make sure you subscribe to my channel, guys. My next stream will be in about 30 minutes where I'll be taking live calls on the radio. The drive went by much faster with all of you good people here with me, so I appreciate your company. I'll take a quick look at the chat before I go in to get my coffee. Yeah. You know, the inflation, the cost of living has just skyrocketed. Just skyrocketed. Well, guilty on 34 counts. That was a crooked judge whose daughter took millions of dollars, you know, for that verdict. Crooked judge, crooked courtroom. Plus the Supreme Court ruled presidential immunity. So, no, he's not a convicted felon. I'm sorry to tell you. Well, guys, listen, I got to run. I'm going to get my coffee. And the chat is already set up for the next stream. It's about the walkout at Kamala Harris's fake rally yesterday. So when I end this stream, jump over there. You can continue the chat over there, and I'll be with you live in about half an hour. All right, I'm Brian. Thanks, everyone, for watching. You know, those of you that watch my channel, subscribe to my channel, those of you that are members of my channel, thank you so much for your support of the channel. I greatly appreciate it. Thanks so much, guys. All right, I'm Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'll see you on the next stream. Thanks for watching.